guys, talking about housing, I said to you that in a matter of 24 hours, I went and I looked for different messages about what's going on with the housing market, right? I'm trying to see if we can also help provide some level of clarity about what's taking place with the housing market. The
Yes.
problem is that depending on who you tap into and what news outlet you're looking at,
Yeah.
you have some people, for example, Facts Business, the CEO, the Center Fitzgerald, is Howard Luther, literally said that, what we're looking at is the potential, the worst next 18 months of the market. The next 18 months will be probably the worst that we have seen in the housing market
Yes.
from a long time. I still want to quote also the fact that you have somebody who was very much part of the industry, Grant Cardone, saying, be careful with it. And I was looking for where are those signs, right?
Yes.
So I found out that there's about $700 billion out there on loans that are going to mature. They're coming due. They are adjusting. People are going to have to make a choice, right? Do I lose money on selling the property if I don't have any equity on it? Do I go from having a very good type of loan to having something that's gonna, like, now the payment goes a lot higher just because it's gonna go from a 1.9 to a 7%, 6.5, 6%, whatever the market is dictating. Right now, they're also announcing, the fact that there has been some sharp declines on interest rates also. That say, okay, so that's already activating some of the builders, or their sentiment is that it's going to, for anybody who's in the market right now, the last component that I want to that definitely is a factor. $700 billion, definitely a factor. In addition to that, a lot of the so-called, what they call the silver tsunami that is supposed to happen, meaning a lot of the baby boomers that are already getting to the point where they got to do something with the house, right? A lot of the baby boomers, they got to do something with the house. And at this point, it's saying, you know what? I don't even need this big property. I don't even need to. Why do I need to money? So these guys are looking into a reverse mortgage, which is let me take my equity out, and I don't have to pay the bank anything ever. I still have the ability to pass it on to my children. I still have the ability to sell the property, whatever the case may be, right? Because they give you a percentage of the money up front. Just think about that. Your property is worth $1 million. They'll give you $500,000 up front that you can use to supplement your retirement.
Yes.
And you don't have to pay a mortgage anymore.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal. You know what I mean? For somebody who's saying, children are doing okay, I don't have to worry about anything else, that's a good choice. Or I'm just going to, cash it out and sell it, and I can find a smaller place where I can carry, even if I got to make the payment, I can take that $1 million and put it to work into something that's going to give me the opportunity to use that.
Sustain
So
my current quality
essentially,
of life, yeah.
you went from having a mortgage to that money is going to now pay your housing arrangements, right? And so, but I'm going to tell you, if I was in the market right now, and I'm asking myself, is this a good time to buy? Is this a good time to sell? There is absolutely no clear set of instructions coming in from anybody, or a clear understanding of what's going on with this market for anybody. You have people that will say, well, buying is always good no matter what, because eventually, not really. When you have, especially in certain states, guys, it's not throughout the country. So you got to almost be in a state by state type of conversation to see where you're.
Don't go buying in New York.
I will tell you one thing though. It's usually never a good idea to start buying on, February, March, April, May, June, July, almost all the way up to August, because that's when the normal buyer goes out. Meaning you have a couple of children, you're looking at the school zone area, you know what I mean? You want your children to be part of that. You're willing to pay a premium for that property to be there. Somebody else that is just now from September all the way to the end, that's the time to buy. So from right now to the end of August is the time to sell your property. You're gonna get the highest dollar amount that you can possibly get. From September on, then now you're buying aggressively, because that so-called normal market, school already started, everybody already made the choice of where they were going to be. But this is a conversation. We have a lot of people that we deal with that are constantly asking, what do you think? Is this a good time to buy? Is this a good time? As a matter of fact, we have a couple of friends buying land, and they're buying land in the state of Florida right now because of the nearby developments that are supposed to be happening in the next 5-10 years. So you can potentially find yourself in a situation, I'm buying it right now, but 5 years from now, this can literally double in value.
Gotcha.
Nobody expected that an acre of land near Disney or near SeaWorld
Yeah.
was going to get to the point of being priced at $1 million
Gotcha.
per acre. Just the land.
the
Forget
land.
about
Yeah.
nothing else in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you were the guy who had the
Yeah.
vision to say, you know what, let me buy it. It's already overpriced at 100,000.
Yeah.
But right now you can cash it out and
Mhm.
make a nice profit on that.
That's awesome.
So, are you getting any feedback from anybody? I know that we have some realtor friends and some people that you deal with. Is everybody over optimistic, or is everybody a little pessimistic? What are you getting? What are you sensing?
Well, I tell you what, I went to Puerto Rico. I'm not talking about Florida specifically, but we went to Puerto Rico. We spent there about a week. And the amount of properties that are just kind of being left unattended
Abandoned.
and abandoned is just incredible.
Yeah.
And so, it creates a lot of opportunity. You see Puerto Rico, there's a lot of people. Especially there's an area called Islote. And that area is either like there's abandoned houses and then there's like houses that were put together as a complex for like Airbnbs.
Mhm.
And so it's like this beautiful thing that people are coming in and vacationing because it's like literally oceanside, like it's beachside. You have the opportunity to walk to the beach and there's a bunch of different bars and things like that you can see. So it's a beautiful place, but you still find in the area, real close to it, some spots that are kind of like left alone. I know that it's not like that in the rest of the country, but it does kind of feel that there's a lot of people that are feeling the heat of sustaining their property.
Yeah.
Or maybe not the one property that they live in, but multiple properties as well. So Airbnb, especially because everybody thought it was the next best big thing. There's a lot of properties right now, and the occupancy doesn't necessarily sustain the level of income that they had before. So it's not like it's crappy, especially here in Orlando, Florida. We're right next to Disney. There's always going to be occupancy.
Yeah.
But a property that will give you, I don't know, $10,000-$15,000 a month is now giving you $4,000 a month. And so for the people that took that risk and saying, man, I'm making $10,000 a month, let me go ahead and invest, to go that from 10,000 to 4,000 from one property, that has an impact, on your
Yeah.
income. So
Yeah, for me, so I haven't heard anything specific to real estate, but I'm just paying attention to businesses. And more, when I go out, like, I don't care what they say on the news. The news is always going to tell you something that's going to confuse you half the time, right? But what I see in real life
Yeah.
is businesses are not as busy as they normally are. Not only that, people are not spending as much money, and I still see a lot of places that are shut down. So what does that tell me? Is that as a whole, I feel like people are making less money. And if people are making less money, it's going to lead to more people are not going to be able to pay their bills. There's
I
no
tell
way around
everybody, don't be lazy. I tell everybody, don't be lazy. Get on your car. Get on your car and
Correct.
go drive around a little bit. Go
Correct.
visit a few places. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm looking at commercial properties right now. They are coming up for sale in areas that I was not expecting them to even be presented. And worse than that, they're trying to cash it out. You know what I mean? Meaning they purchase those properties at a very lower percentage and they're trying to sell it so high that they're not selling in areas that normally will go just
Correct,
like this. You know what I
correct.
mean? And those are things that you got to pay attention to. It's like, you're at the end. You gotta pay attention to what you see. Your eyes will tell you,
Yeah.
will tell the story.
I feel like similar to what happened in 2008, even when was Michael Burry, how he knew something was going to happen, but he was like 2 years too early. I feel like the big thing that everybody's saying is going to happen is going to be a similar situation where it's not going to happen when we think it's going to happen. They're going to find a way to prolong this past any elections,
I mean,
past
definitely,
any,
yeah. We're not going to see anything go down
Correct.
until January.
Exactly. Where it should have probably happened sooner. So I don't know if that makes the situation worse. Or I don't know enough about the real estate market to see if you prolong it, if it makes it a worse
Correct.
thing. But I think that's what's going to happen. But we're going to definitely experience it.
And guys, before I introduce, I want to ask you about your projection about New Hampshire. You know what I mean? What do you think is going to happen? And before I do that, I want to tell you a reason why we have this nice, tiny little book in here.
It's the biggest book
This is
better.
it's the biggest book. This is Alejandro Dumas, who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo, El Conde de Monte Cristo. And so the storyline there this is a guy that was betrayed and everything was taken away from him. And I mean everything. Business, the girl, you name it. I listen, Trump is a winning brand, right? Trump, you don't want to put Trump into poor Donald Trump. He's going to fight it out and he's going to fight it out. But I'm gonna tell you, when you watch this movie and you think about some of the stuff that's going on with Donald Trump, guys, it's difficult not to compare to. They are trying to take everything away from this guy, his wealth, his reputation, his presidential accomplishments. You know what I mean? And so, but the storyline, by the way, and there's a phenomenal movie out there. The same individual, as a matter of fact, that played Christ on the Passion of the Christ. It
Yes.
was the main character for
Okay.
the Count of Monte Cristo. At the end of the storyline, that he's able to settle the score. I don't want to use revenge, you know what I mean? But he was able to settle the score and vindicate himself with everything, business, personal. And I think that what we are witnessing right now, literally in real life, is a Alejandro Dumas type of story, a Count of Monte Cristo type of story, where Donald Trump will be able to vindicate himself, not only as a president, but also as a business person, as an individual. Because right now, make no mistake about it, there's a bunch of people that are trying to do everything and anything to take everything away from him. And it appears, God willing, if he gets lucky, that he'll be able to put himself in that position. Who do you think is going to take Iowa? I mean, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, it's probably gonna be Trump. By the way, this guy is gonna win on a landslide. The only reason
You don't think it's going to be very close? Because right now they're trying to make it seem like Nikki Haley is going to be no less than 10 points away, and that
wasn't that
DeSantis
the
will come
same
in
thing
and
that
say-
they were saying? It will be very, very difficult to vote to double them. It will be very difficult to go over 40.
Yeah.
51%
Correct.
of the vote. We gotta see how Nikki Haley does going into South Carolina. Because if she gets a little bit of momentum in New Hampshire, because in her head this is a two-person race already. I don't know who are the two people that are running. It's definitely not her, but in her head it's a two-person race. So I don't believe that she's gonna drop out. We gotta see what the result is gonna be, because I think she wants to take the fight to South Carolina in a cocky way. Although she's gonna get spanked in South Carolina as well.
I think it's very healthy to see the difference between already at this level internally, to see the difference between what the candidates are going after and what they are willing to do for the benefit of the country, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, an American first candidate.
I have no clue what's gonna happen in New Hampshire. To go back to the the story,
of-
I just think this is a testament to that we live in the greatest country in the world, right? You know, and I think a lot of people forget like how big of a deal it is that. Number one, it's already bad enough that you could be a former president and they do the types of stuff they're doing. That's ridiculous already. But the fact that he's still able to do what he's doing, it only happens in America. So I think this is just a great story for people to see when it comes to the good side of if you put your mind to something, you can make it happen, regardless of
the
what.
willpower. Right?
Correct,
Remember,
correct.
this is a place that we first of all, as a country, we love to build heroes.
Yep.
We'll build you up. You're gonna be the greatest thing. You're gonna be, and then we love to tear you apart to pieces until you destroy. Well, there is nothing else, but there's nothing that we love more than anything else.
To see
than
them
I
come back.
I come back, kid, and
That's
like
that's
to
the
see
whole drama.
somebody
That's the whole drama.
rising from the
I
ashes.
like it. I like it.
Rising from the ashes. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that when you think about that, will be the greatest comeback story
Correct,
at
correct.
some point.
Rocky
Even the
IV.
haters, but I'm gonna
Yes,
tell you
yes.
the willpower that you're gonna have to pull that off.
That's
I
true.
give
Yeah.
this man a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
credit.
Absolutely.
Mental toughness,
Absolutely.
That is-
willpower, freaking hard worker. This guy is outworking. You know what I
Relentless.
mean?
Yeah.
Like young kids. But with that being said,
Yes.
I cannot wait to see what is your opinion about who winners and losers. Who do you think is? If anybody's dropping out of New Hampshire, let us know. And see how you see the story playing out. Because for me, again, this is a Count of Monte Cristo. This is a potential. You're gonna see a potential comeback story, rising from the ashes. I would love to see what you think is the story is playing out in front of your eyes right now. Good, bad, whatever the case may be. But I hope you're in it to witness the whole thing. So, if any of this conversation was helpful to you today, please like, subscribe, pass it around. Get some other people to be part of the conversation. Comment so that we definitely want to engage and have
We
a
wanna
full
get to
conversation
know
with you.
you.
Yes.
With that being said, thank you for being part of this conversation today. Take care.